as a wrap-up question then, Dan, let me take one step back. With all these ambitions he's got to fix everything, while we're in this crisis, this financial crisis, that's basically the root cause is overvalued housing. And well, from what I'm seeing, if I'm doing the math, there isn't enough bailout money to rescue all the banks and all the people who are going to get foreclosed on, because the amount of value that in aggregate that is being lost in the economy is far exceeds any available tax revenue, or even money that we could possibly borrow from other countries. Our credit line is running out there. So he wants to spend on all these things. Where's that money coming from? We're already 1.2 trillion in for this 2008, which has doubled the previous high of a national debt for a year.
The best scenario would be for reality to slap Obama in the face once he gets in office, the Congress to come up with the fact that they don't have the money, and that they're not going to borrow that much money, they're not going to print that much money, and so you can't do it. Now, that would be the best scenario. The worst scenario is that they print the money, and we have galloping inflation, and then they try to figure out how to solve that problem later. But, anything can happen. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, if they print money, the rent seekers and the privileged always
there's
seem...
no end to it, of course. And history shows that governments that went down that lane, they can't stop once they start down that path, and you end up with runaway inflation.
Essentially, they do it. When the Fed bails somebody out, they have to print the money to do that. So they're already going down that path. And sure, those banks and that should be allowed to fail are getting that money, and those people are going to make out just fine. But everyone else is going to suffer. Eventually, the inflation ripples through the economy.
Well, I don't know how aware you were back in the 70s when we had the flare-up of inflation. It hit like 15 or 20% there for a while. But basically what happened was that the public sentiment was turned so much against inflation and stopped inflation now that the politicians had to eventually do something about it and stop printing money and stop and basically raise interest rates, stop printing money, and that's how they killed inflation. So hopefully that'll happen again before it's too late.
Yeah, then the interest rates would rise naturally, but they're forcing them down. The Fed is forcing that prime rate down.
In general, when you have very low interest rates, that means they're inflating the money supply.
Yep.
How they do it.
It's gonna.
And when they raise the interest rates, that means that to very high rates, like we had 15% money market fund rate in the late 70s, tried to kill inflation. So that'll be what happens if they go through that path again.
It also has to kill investment for a while. It's just part of the cycle. Now that we've gotten into this.
70s were not very good investors. Kind of a lot.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is that the value of the dollar goes down relative to the rest of the world. It puts us in a very weak position. There's people predicting, like Peter Schiff is predicting, that the dollar's really going to tank. And of course, he's biased. He's running Euro Capital. He wants everyone to invest in foreign stocks and in gold. So he has...
Well, it's a problem all over the world, so I don't trust all these other governments either. When they see America inflating, they have a very great temptation to do the same thing, because then the other governments get to spend money too, so it's not that clear what's going to happen.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables and not enough equations to figure it out.
There you go, an engineering perspective.
Just got to write it out. Well, Dan, thank you very much for hitting those topics. I didn't think we were going to get through them all, but I'm getting better at not asking 500 follow-up questions. So thank you for helping be concise on that. And we're going to have another good year. I'm going to try to get out to the meeting. Is it next week, next Tuesday?
That's correct.
Excellent. Okay, that's out in Glendora at the Denny's restaurant there on Grand and what's the cross street? So for the 210, just north of the 210.
Yeah, 210, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll look forward to seeing you out there, and thanks again, Dan. I'm gonna play us out with the rest of the federal aid song, and I've got it cranked up a lot louder this time.
Okay, I'm gonna sign off then, Joey.
Okay, I'll talk to you next time. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.
I read in the papers in real big print about a sugar-coated speech made by our president. With federal aid, he thinks he'll win our trust. But federal aid, hell, the money belongs to us. He puts taxes on this, taxes on that, just any kind of tax to keep the government fat. He says he's going to give us federal aid or bust, but federal aid, hell, the money belongs to us. Federal aid, we hear it all the time, but it's not really federal aid, 'cause the money is yours and mine. The money is yours and mine. He started a new program, the anti-poverty school. I think it's a good idea, nobody wants to be a fool. Now he says he's running short of funds, and that ain't no joke. But it ain't the government that's hurting, it's us that's going broke. Now if we could just keep most of the money we've made, there wouldn't be much reason to have federal aid. Now I believe in helping the poor, I think it's a must. But it's not federal aid, hell, the money belongs to